Good morning, and may peace and blessings be upon us here. In the spirit of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year that began Wednesday evening, and the Jewish high holidays culminating next week with Yom Kippur, Lashana Tova, may you have a sweet and good year. My name is Jamila Tharp. I am the First Unitarian Church's intern minister, and I am also a third-year student in the Masters of Divinity program at Starking School for the Ministry. I am on track to become an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister. My wife and I and our 3 small children recently moved to Salt Lake City from Eureka, California. In the beginning of the year, we placed our house on the market to sell, and by mid-February, we had a buyer. An amazing feat in this economy. I don't know, possibly divine intervention. Definitely some plain luck, and certainly a willingness to drop the asking price helped. We have picked a good place to call home. As we continue to settle in, it is nice to know that experiencing these majestic mountains can be as peaceful and calming as the magical redwood trees from where we recently came from in Northern California. I'm grateful to be with you in community here, and I've enjoyed meeting many of you, and I look forward to meeting many of you that I haven't met yet. I've been going to different committee meetings and certainly been following job shadowing Reverend Tom Goldsmith, and I'm looking forward to the year together, and I feel very fortunate to have you as my congregational teaching congregation. And I can't share this with some of the choir because they left already, but I tell you, I'm infinitely thankful to the choir because I've joined the choir when I'm not up here, and they've been very gracious at tapping out the rhythm, pointing to the words, and the occasional reminder, breathe. So I want to begin by telling you a story. We were inching along at a snail's pace with our 3-year-old daughter, Abigail, seated in the back seat of our car. We were waiting our turn to cross the border from Canada to the U.S. Michelle and I had just had the most quintessential picture-perfect wedding in Victoria, British Columbia, outdoors under the blue sky with a gorgeous view of Oak Bay. Both of our families shared in our wedding ceremony, with Michelle's mother and my father signing as witnesses for our Canadian marriage license. Our wedding story is truly a fairy tale come true. Major family rifts that existed 14 years earlier had healed. Old fears and patterns of homophobia erased, and only love, pure joy, acceptance, and celebration existed on our beloved wedding day. Our family's presence that day was a testament to the teaching, love thy neighbor. Back up. We're all part of the digital world. We can, back up here. Let's say this again. Our family's presence that day was a testament to the teaching, love thy enemy. That love and compassion illuminate the reality that through their power to transform, yesterday's opponents are today's strongest allies. So there we were at the border, when out of the backseat came a very determined voice. Moms, when we crossed that line up there, and she was pointing to the border, and I turned to look back, I could see her face. She was looking right at me. Will we still be married when we cross the border into our United States of America? And I remember thinking how appropriate for her to include herself in this equation of consideration. I consciously took a deep breath and slowly exhaled, and I exchanged glances, with Michelle, searching for how are we going to answer this. We proceeded to explain to her that we were, of course, married in our hearts, and always will be. Abigail pressed me more specifically with, yeah, but will we still be married when we cross the border into our country? We carefully reminded her that we were just married by our Unitarian Universalist minister before the great mystery, what some might call God or love, with all our family present. And certainly no one can take this away, not even the United States of America. She's persistent. Yeah, but we were legally married in Canada. Will we still be legally married in our country? You might be thinking, how does an almost 4-year-old know that there is such a thing as civil marriage distinct from religious marriage? Well, in 2002, Michelle and I began an annual Valentine's Day Standing on the Side of Love social justice action in Eureka, California. Like many of you, we were concerned with the increasing number of states using constitutional amendment ballot measures to write discrimination into their state constitutions, allowing the rights of a minority to be determined by the majority. We resolved ourselves to help open and change hearts and minds with regard to homophobia and the essential need for equal protections for all families. Families like ours are simply more vulnerable due to the lack of the roughly 1,400 federal and state civil rights and protections that we do not have access to because we're denied civil marriage. The Valentine's Day Standing on the Side of Love action is both a wonderful healing and educational opportunity, timed with the universal celebration of love and utilizing the news and the social media. Loving and committed non-heterosexual couples go to the county clerk's office with the support of their straight allies, who may be friends, neighbors, family, co-workers, to request civil marriage licenses, knowing full well that they will be denied. We make our lives, our relationships, our families, and our aspirations visible. We engage in an act of community healing and community education. It's always been an educational challenge to make visible people's lives that are marginalized. Over the years, Michelle and I have been heavily involved in the marriage equality movement, not only on a local level, but also on a state and national level as well. Abigail was not even 2 years old when that Valentine's Day we stood before the county clerk with news media present while we requested a civil marriage license. Michelle held her in her arms while the clerk read the California law declaring that civil marriage in the state of California was only between a man and a woman. Upon hearing this, Abigail grabbed Michelle's face and with both her hands and asked, what did she mean that marriage was only between a man and a woman? And we can't get married? We were all a bit taken back by her ability to follow along in the conversation and what she comprehended. She declared in a very indignant tone, "Let's go home." The clerk's eyes filled with tears. We knew her from prior Valentine's Day actions, and we had taken to bringing her flowers to show how we cared about her, and we realized how hard it was for her to be put in the position of having to say no and to be the visible face of institutional discrimination. The clerk cried, and she did her level best to tell Abigail how sorry she was and that she really wished the law was different, but that it was out of her hands. "I'm sorry," she said. So at almost 4 years old, and years of love warrior work under her belt, Abigail could not let go. She had to know. Yeah, but we got legally married in Canada. Will we still be legally married in the United States of America? No, we won't, I sadly replied. Her face registered disbelief, hurt, pain, rejection, and anger, and then a look of determination. She commanded us, "Roll down your windows, join me." We dutifully followed her orders and rolled our windows down, and she began to chant as loud as she could out the window. "Gay, straight, black, white, marriage is a civil right." Over and over and over and over. And we joined her. We were love warriors. And this is how we crossed the border into our own country.